Another course vlog playing Ridge Creek in Dinuba, California, and it started raining about 10 minutes before I teed off, and it even started hailing, so I had to wait on my second shot for another 10 minutes. But it's a par 5, and I ended up hitting this 6-iron out of the rough, really nice, right into the fairway, and had a pretty short approach. Then I hit a pitching wedge from about 125, a little knockdown, ended up going just past pin high, and as you can see, the greens had a lot of standing water, so I was going to give myself a 2-putt no matter what. I crushed this first putt and it didn't go anywhere, but luckily I made the second one anyway, so I could still feel good about myself. The rain did stop after 10 minutes, so I didn't see a single person on the course the rest of the day, which was amazing, but the conditions were really funky. So I hit this drive down the left side and hit a really nice approach in here, but again, you'll see the greens are covered in water. So I had about a 15-foot putt for birdie, crushed this one again, and it kind of hydroplanes in some areas and slows down a lot in others, so putting was just really impossible all day, but I ended up with a par anyways. Short par 3 here. I wanted to stay on the right side of the pin because it's really downhill on the left, but I thought there was green to the right and there wasn't, so I ended up just off. I pitched up to about 2 feet from down there and had about a 2-foot putt for par. Some pin locations were super wet and others were pretty dry, so putting was just super inconsistent today, but ball striking was pretty good. So short par 4 here, no reason to try to drive the green, so I hit a 5-iron right down the middle. And then I tried to play it a little safe from that left-hand bunker and aimed to the right, but then also pushed it way right, ended up long right of the green. Then I hit a really terrible chip shot here, sculled it over the green into the bunker that I was trying to avoid previously. Hit a really good shot here, but spin wasn't doing anything on some of these landings. Then I hit a really good chip from just off the green and tapped it in with my lob wedge for a double. So that hole was quite unfortunate, but this drive I hit really good down the left side, another par 5, and had about 205 yards into the pin. I hit a little cut 5-iron in here just to make sure I got over that greenside bunker and hit this one perfectly, so I had a really good look at eagle. I hit a really good putt here with some extra speed to get it through the water, but unfortunately this one just rolled way past the pin, didn't slow down at all. Hit a poor putt on the way back up, and actually 3-putt for par when 99 times out of 100 I'd 2-putt at worst. I was trying to use the GPS for aiming spots and hit this one exactly where I wanted, but unfortunately I just picked a bad spot, which happened on a few holes. Hit a terrible recovery shot, ended up left of the cart path again, and then hit a decent one, but it ended up going long and left of the green. Unfortunately, with the conditions of the rough, this was a really impossible shot. I tried to hit a really floppy pitch shot, ended up still short. This first putt was a huge breaker, ended up missing it long. So I had a longer comeback putt than I wanted, and of course missed that just outside the hole. You can see how inconsistent the green speeds are because I barely touched this putt and it rolled a good 2.5 feet past the hole. 198-yard par 3 here. I hit a really good 6-iron draw, nice and low over that first bunker, and it rolled up towards the pin. Finally got a pretty normal putt, hit a good one here, and it looks like it's going right in the heart, but ends up just about an inch short. This was another hole where I hit an absolutely perfect tee shot, but just had the wrong line. And unfortunately it ended up in a fairway bunker that's pretty much impossible to get out of. So I tried to do way too much here, still hit it thin, ended up getting back in the bunker and angrily popped it out into the fairway. Hit a little sawed-off gap wedge here, really nicely left of the pin and long, and of course nothing was rolling back because of the green, so I had this putt for a bogey. Gave it a decent read and run, ended up just a little bit short, so I had that tap in for a double. So far the score's not really working out for me considering how good I felt I was hitting the ball, but the conditions just weren't in my favor today. Started getting a little hooky on my drives. This one ended up in the left rough on the 9th hole, and I hit a really good recovery shot out of an awkward lie, ended up flying a little bit over the green. I hit a good pitch shot from the hill just behind the green, and it was tracking right at the hole. So tapped that one in for par, and I'm +7 through the front 9. Another little hooky drive on number 10 ended up in a really similar lie to the last shot, where I'm standing on a little mound, and this time this one shoots off to the right a little bit, just about pin high. I clipped this pitch shot really clean, and I could hear it try to spin on the green, but of course it was wet, and it just rolled out a little bit longer than I thought. So I had this putt back up the hill, it started breaking, and then turned back the other way, so tapped that one in for bogey. Got back on track with the driver on this par 5, crushed this one over the left edge of the bunker and ran down the slope. And had about 195 yards in and hit a really good 6-iron in to the left side of the green. Had this putt from about 30 feet for eagle and hit it pretty hard, but water slowed it down right at the beginning. Ended up short but below the hole. And then hit what I thought was a good putt here, but... So that's 2 3-putt pars, and you can see how frustrated I was. I was trying to aim just left to this bunker based on the GPS and pulled it a little and hit it thin. And then I realized when I started walking up that that was the left fairway bunker, not the right one, so I was way left and way short. Ended up hitting this one well right of the green and had to pitch up to here, so this long putt is for par. So I just stepped up and hit this one, hit a good putt, but it hit something in the green and shot off right, so I got a double there. Another uphill par 3, playing about 178. I hit a really good 7-iron in here, drew it right back in towards the flag. Had about 15 feet for birdie and hit a good putt, but it still ended up about 2 feet short. So I tapped that one in for par. Driver did start getting away from me towards the end of this round, so I ended up hitting this right of the fairway and actually had to take an unplayable lie, unfortunately. So this is my 3rd shot to a par 4. I hit it right of the pin and spun it back off the green, and this guy thought it was funny to stand there and mock me the whole time. So I had this long putt for par, hit a really good putt straight up the hill, started walking it in, and it decided as I started walking to shoot off to the left, so that's a bogey. Hit another hooky drive on this par 5, ended up in the left rough. Not a good lie, not a good spot, and I had a blind layup that I had to hit, so I took an 8-iron and just punched it out there, trying to avoid all the bunkers up there. This was a really weird shot. I hit a full lob wedge, but the ground underneath was clay, so the club just slipped right through and the ball ended up spinning back like 40 feet on the green. So I had this really long birdie putt that just really had no chance of going in. I did end up making this putt, so it was a good par save after the drive and the approach shot. Short little par 3 here. I hit a pretty good shot, but it just ended up fading off a little more than I wanted, and I had about 20-25 feet for a bird. Another decent putt based on just guessing the individual speed of every green, but ended up just short and low, but I had that tap-in par. Hitting a 5-iron off the tee here, aiming at the middle of the left bunker. I did pull it a little bit, but that's why I hit this club, so I was just fine. This was one of my favorite shots of the day, a little 3/4 fade 8-iron into 145, and I hit it perfectly and had this birdie putt. This thing broke a lot more than I thought, so I ended up missing well low of the hole and short, but again, another tap-in par. So plus 11 through 17, coming into the tee shot of 18, and I flared this thing well right, and somehow ended up finding it. I almost stepped on it, but obviously I didn't have a good lie, but I did hit a really good pitching wedge out of there to here, and had this one for birdie. This shot landed about 9 inches short of the hole, and ended up 3 feet past, so I had this putt for par. And quite the fitting way to end this round, right as it started raining again. So I did shoot 12 over par, but most of those came from weird green conditions with the water and hitting really good tee shots to bad aim points, so I was still happy with that round.